This bulletin is brought to you by Good Morning Vihalia. Enjoy the warmth and indulge in the deliciousness.
Good morning, good morning.
Hello ladies and gentlemen. Prime Minister Dr Mahathir Mohamad just got home yesterday from his 5-day official visit to China aimed at further strengthening the ties between the two countries, which is actually the default reason for any state visit. However, he also brought with him some hopes to be able to negotiate the price reduction for the East Coast Rail Line or ECRL and 2 gas pipeline projects, namely the multi-product pipeline and the Trans-Sabah gas pipeline. Now, we're lucky enough to have him sit down with us for an interview today where he revealed the biggest achievements from the trip.
To make the Chinese understand that the contracts that were signed were not fair to Malaysia, that we need to revise it, that also that we don't have the money to go ahead with this project because it's too costly for us, that the money borrowed has got to be repaid. So the Chinese understand that. None of them said no or anything like that. I explained to all the 3 leaders, the Prime Minister, the head of the party, as well as the President. They never rejected, never said that, well, it's not right or something like that. They all admitted that that we have a problem, financial problem, which can only be resolved by cutting down on the expenses.
Following Dr Mahathir's visit, reports emerged saying that the ECRL and 2 China-backed gas pipelines were to be cancelled. Mahathir was reported to have confirmed that the Chinese government had understood when he explained that Putrajaya was just deferring the ECRL and Surya Strategic Energy Resources or SSER projects because the country could not afford them. Now, during our interview, we decided to ask him to clarify on the status of these projects.
I said if we can, we would like to cancel it. If we cannot, we want to defer and look towards other ways of solving our financial problem. It's very big. That's why I said that the people who signed this contract from Malaysia are rather stupid. You see? How can you make an agreement like that? Payment is time-based, not work in progress. This is never done. It would look as if the people who went there to negotiate with the Chinese were very stupid. They don't know what is meant by agreements and contract agreements and all that.
Malaysia's first multi-grains brand, the champion is Good Morning. Hey, what's big and expensive and slowly losing value due to exposure to the weather? If you're thinking about Jamal Yunus's Red Velfire, then you could be right, but think bigger. The super yacht Equanimity is apparently deteriorating due to its exposure to the sea and weather as she sits docked at a berth in Port Klang. According to court filings cited by Malaysia Kini, 1MDB is filing for a court order requesting the urgent sale of the vessel before it loses its value. So if you've always wanted an oversized and overpriced floating mansion, look no further. The Equanimity, which is believed to have been purchased using funds embezzled from 1MDB, was seized by Indonesian authorities and handed over to Malaysia a few weeks ago. The hearing that 1MDB is calling for, however, is not to decide the ownership of the Equanimity, but instead calls for all questions on a claim to the sale proceeds be reserved. The proceeds from the sale are to be paid into court and placed in a bank account in Malaysia. Johor DAP leader Liu Chin-tong, who was defeated in the 14th general elections by MCA Deputy President Wee Ka Seong, just had more salt rubbed in his wounds today when the Kuala Lumpur High Court threw out his bid to challenge the results of the polls. Liu, who lost to Wee by a paper-thin 303 votes, had petitioned to annul the results of the election as he believed that the conduct was unfair, stemming from activities such as the removal of billboards with election materials. The court ruled that the petition was defective and failed to prove how the alleged misconducts affected the voters. Liu was then ordered to pay 10,000 ringgit each to the Election Commission, Wee and the returning officer. The revelation that there was over 19 billion ringgit missing in GST refunds was a shocker when it was announced by Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng a few weeks ago. Now, if that rustled your jimmies, then I'm sorry for what I'm about to say next, okay? Trigger warning. Yesterday afternoon, Guan Eng announced that there's another 16 billion ringgit missing. Yes, another 16 billion ringgit missing from tax returns. And this time, it's concerning income tax and real property gains tax. He further explained that the outstanding amount of tax refunds is due to a drastic lack of funds in the Tax Refunds Trust Fund, or TRTF. Now, since tax returns can only be drawn from this TRTF thing, according to him, the TRTF had a measly 1.486 billion ringgit left, a shortfall of 14.56 billion ringgit, which resulted in 1.6 million taxpayers not receiving their tax refunds. By right, these refunds should have been processed through requests from the Inland Revenue Board, but such requests appear to have been dishonored. Our final story today concerns what's going to happen to this massive gaping hole that is caused by money missing from the TRTF. This is taxpayers' money, this is your money, this is my money, this is our boss's money. So what do? If you're one of those who are unfortunately denied your tax refund, Lim Guan Eng actually has something worked out for you. He announced that the government, as in the new Harapan government, has agreed to allow those who have outstanding tax refunds from the IRB to make an application to offset the amount against the tax payable for the current year. However, such applications will be subject to the approval of the IRB. They'll still be working out the rest of the refunds, but that would be based on, quote, the ability of the government depending on its financial position. If you're one of those who didn't get your tax refund, how does this make you feel? Does it make you feel any better, or are you still ticked off at the fact that money that was meant for you has, well, disappeared? Hit like, follow, subscribe, and share this video. I am Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching.